Welcome into the Red Clay. It's noon. It's the playoffs, which means Red Clay Soccer Report is now up and running, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. You kind of see them all the way around, but I figure if I would point here, Kaiser Permanente, and we can't thank them enough for being the great partner and great friend that they are across the board with us here at SDH. It is day number 2 of the postseason in the GHSA. And tonight on the network at 7 o'clock, shortly after 7, it's going to be McIntosh hosting River Ridge. And it is an opportunity for us to see up close and personal two of the Blue Bloods in the state of Georgia. One's a defending champ. And it's an opportunity for us to be able to bring it to you. Jason will be on the call. I will be giving you scores and updates all around the state. Outside Chance Drew Dickinson will be joining us as well in studio to kind of break everything down as we see it. But coming up bottom of the hour, we're going to catch up with McIntosh and find out what's going on with them this season. You look at obviously the win and loss record, and you're going, okay, that's somewhat atypical, at 16-3. A lot of folks are anticipating 0s, 1s, and 2s, but I wanted to get into the discussion with McIntosh about how difficult it is to maintain. Everyone's coming for you. Everyone's gunning for you. It is there is no real rest. When the program with this pedigree that exists, when it comes to the program that has been built by Bunky Colvin, Brian Messer, Coach Brigg helping out with the keepers, it is something that, I think that we have a tendency to, I don't want to say take for granted, but because we have seen all of this success for the program for as long as we have seen it, it has been a true testament to what they have built there, to see where it has come from and to see where it is going. And in this day and age where you're dealing with reclassification every 2 years, you're dealing with taking the leap to go and pursue professional careers, all of that stuff that is now involved. This is a team that has been number 1 in the country in the past, winning state championships, and it's just part of their DNA. But to be able to have a front row seat to all of this and understand where they've come from, where they're going, and to be able to maintain all of it, that's been the build here when it comes to the program at McIntosh. We're going to catch up with them once again, bottom of the hour, and find out about what it's like to maintain. How difficult is it to maintain when you've got teams like River Ridge that are chasing after you? Like I said, that'll be on the network a little before 7 o'clock tonight, and it promises to be a heavyweight battle of the highest order. And we can't thank both of the schools involved in this matchup enough for helping us out, and the GHSA for letting us go down to McIntosh and be a part of a great environment tonight on the network at soccerdownhere.net. Go to the Listen tab. You'll see our players on our channels that are available to you at any given time. And then where the red live bug is, that's where the broadcast is going to be. So it'll be on SDH1. We don't have competing matches yet. That might be coming up quarters and semis, but we'll keep you posted on all of that stuff. So tonight, a little after 7 o'clock, we'll be on a little before 7 at soccerdownhere.net on the SDH network for River Ridge and McIntosh here on the network. 16-3 and 11-6. McIntosh ran the table in Region 3-5A. Only gave up 11 goals all season in 19 matches. Scored 94. A lot of shutouts along the way, losing to East Coweta, losing to Pacelli, losing to GAC in late March. Once again, this was after the region schedule had completed. You're trying to find out ways to challenge yourself between the end of region play and the playoffs. And so after your region play's done, Pacelli, GAC, then you pick up Forest Park, you go on spring break, you're at Stars Mill, and then Lithia Springs. And then you get River Ridge tonight. So we'll be going through all of that with our friends at McIntosh coming up bottom of the hour. All right. We got to get into brackets. We got to get into stuff. We have to get into all of the matchups that happened yesterday. And I've got to work on my brackets because we've got to promote everything that happened yesterday. 28, 28, 28, 29. So that's 3 of the 4. Where's my 4th one? So is this, no, it's May 1st. Hang on. 28, 28, 28. All right, those 3. 29, 29, 29, 29. There's the other 4th one. Okay, so that's there, and that's good. All right, so what happened yesterday and what's going to happen today? Go into our brackets, courtesy of our friends at the GHSA. It's all filled out in pen at this point. Sorry, hang on. It's all filled out in pen at this point. Or I can turn it away from the light. So let's get you into the brackets and let you know what happened. And we'll start off on the girls' side. It was all girls yesterday. There were a couple of crossovers, but we'll get into what happened. We'll get into what happened yesterday in all of the brackets, all the final scores, and get you ready for today, which is boys' side in the same classifications. That's how they try to work it. And then that way you have the opportunity to have double headers like the one at Riverwood that is planned for tonight, and all of these things that have the opportunity to come together. So yesterday on the board, Thomasville continues as number 1 ranked team in Class A D1 girls. They beat Barrow by the final of 5-1. So Thomasville advances. And they're going to take on Sandy Creek, ranked number 10. Sandy Creek shut out Armurchie by the final of 2-0. So Sandy Creek at number 10, Thomasville at number 1. That is going to be in the quarters, and that is going to be upper left, somewhere in and around May the 4th. Fannin beat Rabun in the 5-21 matchup. Rabun, remember, had upset Vidalia in round number 1. So Rabun traveled to Blue Ridge. Rabun gets the 3-2 win. Remember, Fannin had a deep run last season. I want to say it ended in the semifinals. Now Fannon's going to get Lamar, so it's going to be number 4 versus number 5, and that is going to be in Barnesville on the 4th-ish. Like I said, as the brackets say, that's the dates we're going to use for the time being, but keep an eye on your favorite teams on your favorite social media and looking at all of the matchups coming up in the quarterfinals. So Social Circle goes to Thomasville. Fannin County will go to Lamar, number 4 and number 5, squaring off in the quarterfinals, low left. Model, no problem with Woodville Tompkins. And so Model, who is ranked number 2, is going to take on Jeff Davis. Jeff Davis, we had Coach Lawson and Jeremy Moore, the 2 coaches for Jeff Davis and for Toombs in this number 6 versus number 7 ranking matchup. Had them on earlier in the week on Monday to set this matchup up. Lived up to all of the hype and the expectation. Jeff Davis wins at home 2-1. Jeff Davis advances, so number 6, Jeff Davis, goes to Model in the quarterfinals. Then Bremen, no problem with Bleckley. Bremen, by the way, is not ranked in the Class A D1 girls bracket. Not ranked. Took care of number 9, Bleckley. And then Ace Charter, who is ranked number 3, no problem with Pepperell. So Ace Charter is going to be taking on Bremen. Bremen travels to Ace Charter. Jeff Davis to Model. Social Circle to Thomasville. And Fannin County to Lamar. That's your quarterfinals, Class A D1 girls. D2, and once again, we'll go over schedules and times and things like that as we go. So Trutland and Irwin. Irwin wins this one 2-0. We've got to find out what's going on in Irwin, in Osceola. Number 3 ranked Irwin County on the Class AA girls side is going to take on Atlanta Classical. And Irwin, as a team number 1, gets ACA next round. Number 3 versus number 6. ACA knocks off Crawford County in Roberta. No problem there, 8-0. LOA over Brooks. For those of you that might have tuned into SDHAM, we got to catch up with head coach Joseph Smith at Brooks and find out about the program and the growth that they've had in his 4 years there. His first class that is completely cycled through. Make it to round number 2, losing to LOA. LOA ranked number 10 as number 1 is going to go to Screven County. They're going to go to Sylvania. Screven, top-ranked team in Class AA girls. Screven beat Montgomery County by the score of 2-1. That's low left. So it is number 6 ACA at number 3 Irwin County. It is LOA ranked number 10 at number 1 Screven, May the 4th, as the brackets tell us. Tryon ranked number 5. Beat Claxton 2-0, so they advance. They're going to go to Milledgeville to take on GMC. GMC is the number 4 ranked team. They beat Lanier County by the score of 2-1. So Tryon at number 5. Area 6's team number 1 will travel to Area 2's team number 1, and that's GMC. So Tryon and GMC. And then low right, it is Portal and Atco. Portal, the number 3 team out of Area 3, is going to go to Atco, the number 2 team out of Area 1, and it's going to be Portal unranked at number 7, Atco. So in Class A D2 girls, it is once again upper left, ACA at Irwin, LOA's at Screven, low left, Tryon to GMC, and Portal and Atco. That's Class A D2 girls in and around May the 4th. AAA girls, and this is where we go power rankings to determine who 1 through 32 are. Oconee County, no problem with Pickens. And so the top-ranked Oconee County team advances, and they are going to host Lumpkin County. Lumpkin County gets the win in Dahlonega against number 9 ARC in the power rankings. Lumpkin's ranked number 5. So number 5, Lumpkin County, travels to number 1, Oconee County, upper left in AAA. Heritage Catoosa continues their upset specials, going to West Lawrence, getting the win. Team 28 has now made it to the quarterfinals. And they're going to take on Johnson Gainesville at the Dungeon. And it is going to be on the 4th of May. Once again, Heritage Catoosa over West Lawrence 2-1. Johnson Gainesville over number 2 ranked Adairsville 2-1. So Johnson Gainesville goes on the road, knocks off Adairsville. So Lumpkin County at Oconee County, and it is Heritage Catoosa at Johnson Gainesville on the left-hand side of the bracket. Dawson County is going to take on Monroe area. Dawson County at Team 14 upsets Harlem, who is ranked number 4, team number 3, winning that one 3-2. And Monroe area at Team 22 gets a win over Team 27 Islands, and so Monroe area is going to go to Dawsonville. Team 22 goes to Team 14, upper right. And then you have Jefferson shutting out Northwest Whitfield. So Jefferson gets the win, 6-0 over Northwest at Jefferson, ranked number 6, and they're going to go and they are going to host Cherokee Bluff. So Cherokee Bluff goes to Jefferson. Jefferson shuts out Northwest Whitfield. Cherokee Bluff upset Whitewater, the top-ranked, number 3 ranked Whitewater, upset by number 10 Cherokee Bluff. And we are efforting Cherokee Bluff, an interview with Cherokee Bluff to kind of find out about the season so far. So it is in AAA. Lumpkin County at Oconee County. Heritage Catoosa at Johnson Gainesville. Team 28 at Team 20, left, low, left. Monroe area Team 22 to Dawson County Team 14. Cherokee Bluff at Team 18, ranked number 10, goes to number 6 Jefferson, May the 4th. That is AAA. 5A girls. Chambly gets the win over Jackson County at North DeKalb Stadium yesterday. They won that one 1-0, so they advance ranked number 9. They're going to take on number 5 McIntosh, who beat 4 seed Creekview 2-1. So it is going to be McIntosh at Chambly, probably at North DeKalb Stadium on the 4th. Roswell beat Lakeside Evans by the final of 1-0. That's all you needed to do. Number 2 ranked Roswell advances. And they are going to take on the winner of Rome and Riverwood, which is part of the doubleheader at Hoskins Stadium today. So Riverwood ranked number 1, Rome ranked number 10 at Hoskins Stadium at Riverwood today. 2 matches going on with Riverwood soccer this afternoon and tonight. So Roswell right now is team number 1 out of Region 7. If Riverwood wins, they go to Riverwood. If Rome wins, they host Low Left. And this was one of those situations where Riverwood had 2 teams in, 2 separate days. They combined them into one day and one experience. Upper right, Lassiter gets the 2-1 win over Northgate in PKs. So 1-1 after 80, 90, and 100. Goes to PKs. And Lassiter gets the win as the 2 seed out of Region 6, and they're going to play the winner of Johns Creek and Greenbrier. That one is tonight at 6 o'clock out at Greenbrier in the Augusta area. So if Johns Creek wins, they're a 2 seed. They will host. If Greenbrier wins, they're the Region 1 champ. They're going to host Lassiter. Either way, Lassiter travels. Then it is low right Pope over Alexander 5-1. The number 8 ranked team in 5A girls loses to the number 7 ranked team. Pope wins 5-1, and they're going to take on Milton. Milton doubled Loganville last night by the final of 4-2. So Milton as a 3 seed goes, and they're going to host because it's 2 3 seeds. Pope as the number 7 ranked team in 5A. They were number 6. They were Region 6's number 3. Milton's Region 7's number 3. So Pope goes to Milton. So half of 5A still to be figured out. But right now, McIntosh at Chambly, Roswell waiting for the winner of Rome and Riverwood, Lassiter waiting for the winner of Johns Creek and Greenbrier. Pope goes to Milton. That's what it looks like today. So what's going on today? Let's find out, shall we? On the boys' side, we're going to start in Class A D1 boys. Model had a doubleheader yesterday, so they could have the shared experience. Model beat Temple 7-1, so Model advances. Model traditionally tough, and they are going to take on the winner of Jasper County and Toombs. That one is in Lyons. That one's at the pit. And so Model and the winner of Jasper County and Toombs, either way, Model with the top-ranked team in the power rankings. Winner of Jasper County and Toombs will go to Model. Low left, Thomasville and Woodville Tompkins. Thomasville hosting at team number 5. Woodville Tompkins, team number 12. Bremen coming in with their first round upset as team 20. They are heading to Blue Ridge to take on Fannin. Upper right, Putnam County is number 3, and Eatonton is hosting Vidalia at team 19. And then Barrow Arts goes to Hazelhurst to take on Jeff Davis. Armurchie is going to be hosting Dodge County, so Eastman travels to Armurchie in the 7-10. Social Circle won the 18-15 matchup, and they get to travel to Ace Charter for the number two team in Class A D1 boys. So that's the matchup there. Like I said, we'll go over start times and all the classifications after we catch up with our friends from McIntosh. Class A D2 boys. Upper left, Montgomery County, Atkinson County. Atkinson County is going to be hosting that one in Pearson. Tryon and Macon County, that one's in Montezuma, both team 2s. Low left, it is Lake Oconee Academy hosting Eccles. Team 1 out of Area 5, Lake Oconee Academy hosting Eccles County. ACA with their first round upset of Dooley. They go to Metter to take on the top team out of Area 3. Upper right, Claxton and Mount Zion Carroll. Mount Zion Carroll had the first round bye as team number 1, so Claxton goes to Area 6's team number 1. Towns County won over Irwin in the opening round. They go to GMC, so Towns County goes from Towns County. I can't think of the county seat. Is that Hiawassee? So Towns County, Georgia. Is it Hiawassee? I'm looking for my county seats. In the old days, you could not get a graduation in the state of Georgia without remembering all of the county seats. It is Hiawassee. Okay, so it is Hiawassee. So I had that right. So Towns County goes from Hiawassee down to Milledgeville to take on Area 2's team number 1. Then low right Chatco is going to be hosting Elite Scholars, who knocked off Portal in the opening round. So busy day in Casita for Rusty Oliver. And Lincoln County and Brooks, that one is in Eastman. Once again, if you missed the interview with Joseph Smith from Brooks County in the morning show, it's about an hour and 25 minutes in. We talk about both programs, girls and boys. So Lincoln and Brooks as team 2 in area 1, they are going to host, and that is Class A Division 2. Now, AAA boys. And we have all of the matchups today. No one has advanced yet. No one has played early. Islands is team 1 is taking on Chestatee team 17. Islands is ranked number 3 in AAA. 7 o'clock, Avondale Stadium, just around the corner here from Office HD. It is team 9, Mary Persons at team 8, Stone Mountain. Northwest Whitfield is team 5, is hosting Jefferson in the 5-12 matchup in Tunnel Hill. I imagine the Dragons have already started their departure. Sandy Creek team 20 with their upset of North Clayton in round number 1 travels to Bainbridge to take on the Bearcats, who won in PKs in a 2-2 match after 100 minutes. With Gilmer, they win it in PK, so Sandy Creek goes to Bainbridge. West Lawrence, team number 3, is going to host Peach County, who won as team 19. They won in PKs over Lumpkin County on the boys' side. Calhoun at team 11 goes to LaGrange. Calhoun beat Dawson County, and LaGrange beat Luella. That's upper right. Oconee County, no problems, as team 7 taking on Cairo and hosting Cairo on the boys' side. And then East Hall travels the 7 feet to Johnson Gainesville to take on Johnson Gainesville, who is team number 2. So it's team 18 and team number 2 in AAA. Now, 5A, which is where we're going to be catching up with folks coming up here in a couple of minutes. Jackson County is going to take on Decatur at Decatur. Decatur winning that one in PKs over Milton. Northgate goes to Leesburg to take on Lee County, who shut out Lassiter in the 1-4, 1-0. That's upper left. Hab Central and Evans. Opening round, Hab Central is team number 3. They're going to travel to Johns Creek in a 3-1 matchup. Johns Creek hosting after shutting out Woodward Academy. Rome and Riverwood once again the doubleheader at Riverwood today. Boys and girls, or girls and boys technically. So Rome is a 2 seed, travels to Riverwood, who's Region 6 champ. Doubleheader, Rome and Riverwood, Hoskins Stadium. If you can go to Riverwood and see these matchups. Upper right, once again, the matchup that we're focused on, River Ridge and McIntosh. River Ridge knocking off Houston County at home in round number 1. McIntosh, no problem with Lithia Springs. Winner of this one gets the winner of Dunwoody and Glen Academy. Dunwoody, as a 3 seed, is going to go down to the coast to take on the Red Terrors. Glen Academy, as the region champ out of Region 1, beat Winder Barrow in the 1-4 matchup 5-2. Low right, Pope shut out Veterans. Kennesaw Mountain shut out Lovejoy. So Pope goes to Kennesaw Mountain today. Gainesville and Clark Central. Gainesville, as a 3 seed, went to Adams Stadium in DeKalb County to knock off Lakeside DeKalb. Clark Central, no problem with Effingham County in the 8-1. So that is your brackets for today and get you into your start times. 5 girls matches on the board today. Shaw and Pierce County is at 5 o'clock. Roman Riverwood's at 6 to begin the doubleheader. Johns Creek and Greenbrier is also at 6, as Johns Creek is chasing after win 15 on the season, going up against Greenbrier on the road in suburban Augusta. 35 matches on the boys' side today. Brooks and Lincoln kick things off at 5 o'clock. You're going to have a blending of GICAA. You're going to have GAPS. You're going to have GIAA, and you're going to have GHSA. Claxton and Mount Zion is at 5:30. Jasper and Toombs is at 6. Dodge and Armurchie is at 6. Elite Scholars and Chatco is at 6 o'clock in Casita. Northgate and Lee counties at 6 o'clock. Montgomery County and Atco is also at 6, along with Barrow, Jeff Davis, Tryon and Macon County, Jefferson and Northwest Whitfield, Towns and GMC, 6:30, Social Circle and Ace Charter, Sandy Creek and Bainbridge. Then it is Cairo and Oconee County at 6:30. 7 o'clock's Dunwoody, Glen Academy, East Hall and Johnson Gainesville, Mary Persons and Stone Mountain, Claxton and Mount Zion Carroll, McIntosh and River Ridge at 7 o'clock, 16-3 versus 11-6. Calhoun and LaGrange is at 7. You also have Athens Christian in the GIAA. Their matchup is at 7 o'clock as well. Pope and Kennesaw Mountain is at 7. Jackson County Decatur Clark Central and Gainesville. And it is the matchup now at 8 o'clock with Hab Central and Johns Creek. That one is at 8 o'clock tonight. So we'll keep an eye on that matchup as well. So those are your start times tonight. And what I always say is this, is that if you have the opportunity if your team isn't playing, as an example, if your team is not playing and you have the chance to sit there and if there's a game close by, then go see that game. Go have another shared experience with a fan base that's not yours, friends you might have that will support another team. If your team's not playing, if your team's playing on another day, go experience the game in another place. It's always fun to do that when you have that kind of an opportunity to share the game and be in a position to share the experience with others. Because there's a lot of great matchups and a lot of great markets that are going to be having home games today. McIntosh obviously is one of them for this heavyweight battle. And I imagine a lot of folks from River Ridge have probably already started heading down that way. I mean, just to give you an example, Leesburg, and this is 5A boys, just as an example. Leesburg, Johns Creek, Riverwood, McIntosh, Glen Academy, Kennesaw Mountain, Clark Central, Athens area, Islands on the coast, DeKalb County more than once, Tunnel Hill for Northwest Whitfield, Bainbridge, West Lawrence, which is suburban Dublin, out I-16, LaGrange, Oconee County, so Watkinsville, Johnson, Gainesville, so technically just south of Gainesville, the Gainesville area. Class A D1, Pearson, Montezuma, Greensboro, Metter, Carrollton, Milledgeville, Casita, Quitman, Lyons, Thomasville, Blue Ridge, Eatonton, the Hazelhurst, the Pinelands, Armurchie, suburban Rome, and Macon, Ace Charter. That's today. That's the opportunity. And Pierce County in Blackshear. It's another opportunity to once again continue to share the game with everybody else. Looking forward to all of it. And like I said, it's just in different markets entirely. All these different markets that you get to experience the sport. And it's a chance to sit there and go, well, okay, I've never been here before. Well, I've never been here. And so if you're near any of those markets today, if you're near any of the markets that are going to be having matches in the next round, whether it's DeKalb County, Roswell, Riverwood, Greenbrier and suburban Augusta, Milton, Watkinsville, Johnson, Gainesville, Dawsonville, Jefferson, Osceola, Sylvania, Milledgeville, Pearson, Thomasville, Blue Ridge, Model, suburban Rome, Middle Georgia with Ace Charter. We know they're going to be in the next round. All of those different places that I've named, all across the board, that are up and running with how the game has continued to expand in the way that it is now. You get the opportunity to see all of that that's going on coming up here in the postseason. Postseason, by the way, is going to be at 3 sites. It's going to be at Upson Lee this year because of renovations that are going on at McEachern. So you have renovations going on at McEachern this year, so McEachern is out of the mix when it comes to the championship venue. So it's Upson Lee, Duluth, and St. Pius. St. Pius is your Atlanta venue this year. We don't know which ones are going to be where yet, but nevertheless, Upson Lee is now in the mix in Thomaston, right around the corner from the headquarters of the GHSA. Then Duluth, once again, continues to be their venue. and St. Pius is added to the mix as a substitution for McEachern. So Mercer moves over to Upson Lee as your middle Georgia spot. Duluth stays Duluth, and then St. Pius adds as your substitute for McEachern this year. So when we know, obviously, the championships and who's going to be doing what where, we'll let you know who's doing what where. Now it is time. And I know that when I use the L word, when I'm talking about Bunky Colvin and McIntosh, he's going to sit there and, when he sees me later today, he's probably going to sit there and hit me in the back of the head with his hand. It's like, what are you doing using that word? Yes, and we believe in proper hydration for our guests as well. And especially being on, it's always good. So Bunky Colvin, I say legend, and you sit there and you're like, oh, come on, man. Why are you using the L word on me here?
Yeah, I'm not a legend. I'm just a guy. Who's been very fortunate and blessed by God. So.
Yeah. I want to get into the matchup today. It's blue bloods. It's across the board. How do you keep the guys focused on the task at hand and not get wrapped up into all this stuff that folks like me want to talk to you about?
I think there's a process to it. I think it's a process that goes throughout the year. Part of that process is to make sure that we're challenged throughout the year with our schedule, that we play tough teams, that we have success and we have failures, and that we can learn from those things so that when you're in a situation, you understand that the margins are not real big. You can win, you can lose. And if you don't do the right things, you will lose. And so having some of those lumps along the way are good for a team. It causes you to grow. It causes you to fix problems. It gets buy-in from everybody. Everybody realizes, okay, we can't just rely on skill alone. We can't just rely on a couple of players. We have to do this as a group, and the margins are thin. We've got to be locked in, and we've got to do the right things or the right things won't happen. So I think it's not something that you can do in 1 week. I think it's a process that a team becomes a team. A team becomes mentally tough and resilient from challenge. So I think those challenges are sometimes even more important than some of the victories.
You mentioned that, and I wanted to ask about the two losses back-to-back late in the year. Region play's done. Right. Then you got to fill out your schedule and figure out what you want to do. And after you finish with Langston Hughes, region play's done. 2 days later, you go to Pacelli, and then 4 days after that, you go to GAC. Both of those are losses. Both of those are road losses. I guess we can take it a step at a time. What did you learn about the loss at Pacelli?
The biggest thing that we learned is you can't take for granted certain things. We dominated that match. I think we took 31 shots.
Wow.
To 3. They scored on a penalty that we thought was somewhat questionable. And so I think the lesson that we learned was that the way we were playing and the way we were approaching it, we had to adjust because we kind of had a mentality that if we dominate play, we will win a game. But you'll have those days where, 3 balls will come off the post, you'll miss 2 just wide. A situation where a goalkeeper made 15 saves. And it was one of those, it just wasn't our night. But we had to acknowledge that we created that environment. We came in with the attitude of, we'll create enough chances, we'll win this game. And, we had to then kind of, chalk that one up to, what, we weren't as prepared as we needed to be. We weren't as focused. We kind of had a letdown.
Okay.
And it cost us.
So then you take those lessons and then you go to GAC. And it's another loss on the board, 2-1. So I guess the lessons learned from Pacelli applied to GAC, and then lessons coming out of that one. Was it reaffirmations of what happened with Pacelli, or was it different lessons that you learned?
A little bit. I think some of it was a building process. We had played on a Friday, a Monday, a Tuesday, a Thursday, and then turned around and played a Monday.
Mm.
We picked up the GHC game because we had a team cancel on us, and we wanted another good opponent. We knew that we needed another challenge, and so when we added that game a couple of weeks before it, we kind of had the attitude of some of those games were not going to be competitive games.
Yeah.
I don't think that I considered the physical toll it was going to take on us. So we were tired at Pacelli, and we were still somewhat tired at GAC. I'm not taking anything away from those two teams.
Right.
They beat us. Mm-hmm. But I think we had to grow a little in terms of toughness. The other thing I would say, every game you play and every coach you're around, you learn something from them. You take some things from them. And at the end of that GAC game, my assistant coach, Brian, said, we had great difficulty getting in behind them just because they sat deep, they countered well. We ended up scoring, going up 1-0, and they ended up tying it and then getting a late one on a mistake. We made a mistake, and they made us pay. But one of the things that we looked at was, we tend to always be a high press team. But by high pressing, we're taking away the opportunity for us to do what we're best at, which is stretch the field and get in behind. Mm-hmm. So maybe we need just to adjust our tactic. And really, we kind of talked about what GAC had done to us and how we could do that exact same thing. We could approach it differently and create the opportunity to play into our strength. So instead of pressing, we kind of adjusted what we did. I don't know if I want to tell you what we did or not, because we need it tonight.
I was going to say, I mean, you can say, you can tell me whatever you want, not that anybody would ever look.
I don't know that I'm going to tell you what we adjusted until later, but the adjustment made all the difference in the world. Just that simple adjustment in the way we approached it. We started getting the space we needed. We started finishing the goals that we needed. It was very much a change. And we really basically learned our lesson from GAC and went, dang, let's adjust. What Tom's doing is working, and we can do that exact same thing. And we literally just, took what they were doing and adjusted it to our shape, and we've done it. And it's been pretty effective since.
Bunky Colvin, head coach at McIntosh, getting ready for River Ridge tonight on the network at 7:00. Is there, and I guess there's a key, especially with student athletes, about learning and not dwelling, because I would think that dwelling gives that connotation of you're fixated on it and you're not able to take the information, learn from it, and move forward, where learning from it means that, okay, it's here, I get it, and I'll move on. How do you keep 15 to 18-year-olds learning and not dwelling on something? It's like, okay, this happened, let's learn from it and move on and wash it clean and not get stuck back here to where it continues to affect us for matches down the line.
I think everything has to be approached as a learning event. Mm-hmm. Is this going to make us better? Is this going to make us worse? Why did it happen? If it's a negative, how could we have prevented it? How can we prevent it in the future? It has to be a process of learning. One of the reasons we tell them we're going to play so many hard games, or we're going to play so many, in a short period of time, or why are we going 3 straight away games? It's all to learn lessons. It's all to grow. And so making a mistake is not the end of the world. It's going to happen to everybody. Okay, let's figure out why it happened, what we could have done to prevent it, and let's put a plan in to make sure it doesn't happen again. That's from a player mistake standpoint. It's also from a loss. Mm-hmm. You approach it, well, what are the things we didn't do right? Were we prepared? Did we warm up properly? Did we do the things that we had worked on that week? What lesson are we going to learn? I often, at some point in the season when things are going really, really well, if we have one of those really good runs, one of the things we'll do is we'll sit down, and I call it the iceberg talk. We're going to talk about the iceberg, guys. And, what are you talking about, Coach? Well, okay, what we can see above the water is really great.
Mm-hmm.
What's under the surface that could sink the boat? What are we not dealing with? What are we pushing down or out of the way that needs to be dealt with? Because at some point it's going to impact us. And so then the good thing about losing a game or making a mistake is it forces your head under the water to deal with it. And sometimes you can just be tempted to kind of, okay, yeah, we missed a lot of shots, but we got one late. It's going to work out. Well, sometimes, Bobby Dodd used to say you have to make your own luck.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ways you do that is you address the issues before they're issues, before they at least cost you something. And I think that's part of it.
When you are, do you ever, when you're on a run of form that you're just gangbusters and everything is just steamrolling everybody, do you purposely, or have you in the past done like on the fly iceberg tests in a game to test your players, to almost have them troubleshoot in a when you're in a winning situation? Do you ever have them troubleshoot purposely in game to try to figure out problems?
I think it's hard for them to do that.
Yeah.
I think for someone their age, it's difficult. A lot of times you can get them to do that when you're losing.
Mm-hmm.
When you're winning, I think that's hard for them to do. I think that almost has to be something you have to sit down and kind of step back from. But what I think that we can do, and we do as coaches, is when we're having a good run of form, we know that we're not going to have a challenge that night. We will present challenge. In other words, what I'll do is I'll say, okay, halfway through, guys, we're going to shift into this formation.
Okay.
And we're going to shift in this formation because we have to accomplish the following things. And I need to see you do these things. And we're doing this because later we could be in this situation and need to be able to do this. So here we have a game, after we're up 3 or 4 goals, we're going to shift into this and we're going to work on this. And we're going to work on it and prepare. And then we're going to come back to practice, and you're going to have to compete against each other in it. We're going to solve problems, what could occur, how do we address certain situations. And I think that's the biggest one, is putting them in those situations where they can go, okay, coach, what happens if they send another back up the line and we're outnumbered? What happens if the 6 comes high? Working through those things are the goal of those kind of challenges. And I think you can do it that way. But to ask, 16, 17-year-old, when we're up 5-0 and they want to score another goal, how could we address it?
Yeah.
It's too far into them. But I think if you give them a challenge to overcome, then they can see those things.
What has been the most pleasant surprise to you and the staff this season about this bunch going into tonight?
The work rate and the desire. We knew this year was going to be a different year for us. With the whole MLS Next thing and all, we knew that there would be some differences. That our depth, we weren't sure that our depth would be as deep. And would we have quality in all spots? And we were fortunate enough that some of our seniors, ended up coming back to us. A couple of the MLS Next kids came back to us in crucial spots. And then we had a lot of younger players who have really just worked hard. They've gotten better, and they've impacted the team. So the thing about this team is I think it's a gritty bunch, but it's also been a team that has been very coachable. They want to grow. They want to get better. They know we had a lot of growth that was needed. They knew at the beginning of the year we were not a state championship contender. They now believe we are, because we put ourselves in a position to where we can be successful. We've kind of taken those lumps. And so I think the biggest, positive for us as coaches is we've thoroughly enjoyed coaching this group. They've grown as a group, and we're at the best we can be right now at the right time. we're playing our best soccer right now. And there's a belief that we can do it together. There's no idea that, oh, this player's going to pull us through, or that, no, we're at a position to where we know we've got to do it together. And that's a fun team to coach. That's an enjoyable year to have, that okay, it's a team effort. We're in here together, win or lose, we're doing everything we can.
What concerns you the most about River Ridge?
Experience. They're going to be, to some degree, a little bit more of an experienced team. We've got a lot of guys who it's their first time on varsity. They're going to be going into a game against two-time defending state champs. And, you always worry in those situations, if something goes wrong early, how are they going to react to that? How resilient are they going to be? So I think those are always legitimate concerns. So we've worked a lot to prepare them for those kind of things. But the truth is, you don't know until it happens what's going to happen, But I do believe our team has a real faith that we should win tonight. I think there's a belief that we feel like we should win tonight, that we're prepared. We know what they're going to do. We've made plans to address those things, and all we now have to do is execute. If we can execute, we'll win this game. And I think so there's positive and negative, as far as that.
And we can't wait to be down there to see you. It's always great to catch up with you and have SDH down there at McIntosh in one of the real special environments, period, regardless of the time of year. I can't thank you enough for taking some of your lunch hour to hang out with us. And can't wait to see you tonight. Be safe, my friend. We'll see you soon.
All right. See you, John. Thank you.
All right, there goes Bunky Colvin. He's the head coach at McIntosh on the boys' side. And McIntosh River Ridge, slightly after 7 o'clock. We'll be on a little before. Jason's on the call. I'll be in studio. Might have Drew with us. We got a bunch of games to talk about around the state tonight, and we will talk about them with you this afternoon and this evening here on the network. Thanks to the GHSA. Thanks to McIntosh. Thanks to Bunky, their AD Jason Carrera, Brian Messer, the assistant coach, and Coach Brigg on the keeper side of things. It's going to be great to see everybody down there tonight, and we cannot wait. So 7 o'clock, SDH Network, soccerdownhere.net, and go into the listen section. You get to hang out with us there. It's a great matchup, and we cannot wait. For everybody here at SDH, I'm just John. That's the Red Clay Soccer Report presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. Much platiel, play it safe. We will see you tonight at McIntosh. It's the end of the show. That means I get to do this.